Hi, I'm Tim. Join me as we do a unboxing and test flight of the HobbyZone Mini Aeroscout ready to fly model airplane. Let's get to it. So today I'm happy to report that I got in the mail my Mini Aeroscout from the folks at Horizon Hobby, and it's created by HobbyZone. So we're going to unbox it now. This is what the box looks like coming in the mail. And what I'm interested in this airplane is they're calling it the perfect mini trainer. And I think that is a good description of it because you have a push propeller, so you don't have to worry about prop strikes. It's safe when handling. It looks like it's a reasonable size to learn from. You've got a landing gear, and everything's included. The plane, the battery, the charger, the transmitter, even the batteries for the transmitter. So let's take a look at what's inside the box. So we'll take things out. We have the transmitter, the charger, which is a USB charger for the battery. This is the battery itself, single cell 800 milliamp battery. These are the 4 batteries for the transmitter. And then the other half of this, which keeps the carrying case, we have the fuselage all built with a motor installed. And we have the wing. So again, it'll go together pretty quick. Just the wing goes on here, the battery is located on here, then the transmitter. So you can see from the unboxing of the plane, it's ready to go. You just plug in a few things, put on the wing, and you're ready to fly. There is a manual. Just want to go through this manual a little bit. You see the manual is pretty thick, but that's because it's in multiple languages. The English portion is 14 pages long. 7 of the pages are troubleshooting, takeoff, just things you don't have to worry about if you have some level of flying experience. Let's just go through some of the important points of the owner's manual that will bite you if you don't pay attention to what's going on. Again, the kit contents are right here. We went through all that with the unboxing, very complete. The wing is a little over 30 inches in a wingspan, about 21.5 inches long. Again, a good size for a trainer. You don't want the trainer too small. I think this will be pretty good. And then all the things that are installed, etc. Charging the battery is a USB charger, which I think is a very good thing. When you plug it into your computer, red light is charging, red light off is fully charged. It is a single cell battery, so you should be able to work it with your home charger with the appropriate connectors. The catch of the USB charger takes 75 to 90 minutes to charge. Again, computers don't have a ton of power. That's a long time for the battery. If you stick with the USB charger, you're going to have to buy a second or a third battery. Again, assembling the aircraft, just the hatch for the flight battery, the landing gear, and then putting the wing in place. Nothing hard there. 4 AA batteries for the transmitter in the back. Go through the controls. It's a 3-channel model, rudder elevator with trim buttons, throttle on the left. Everything pretty standard there. Installing the battery, again, this should be pretty standard. But what's important here is you want to make sure that the throttle stick is in the lowest position. The motor will not arm if the throttle is up, and it won't run if it's not armed. And the sequence is you power on the transmitter, you connect a fully charged battery, and then the motor is armed or the battery is connected. Again, it's a pusher motor, so you should be safe when you plug that in, but that's the order of doing it. The other thing I want to point out is binding. Binding is where you electrically connect your transmitter to the receiver in the airplane. As you read carefully through the binding, you'll find out that the model comes from the factory already binded. You don't have to do the binding. This is only the instructions. If for whatever reason there's some problem and you have to wind up binding it, you do it by pressing in this the throttle stick. But again, it comes binded from the factory. And then just control horn self-centering, how the controls work. This is relatively standard stuff. It does have dual rates, which is pretty neat for a model of this low cost. The important point on the manual, the dual rates come from the factory set at high, which is what you want them for. You have to go through this process if you want them to go low. And then the trims are just standard trims. And the flying is pretty much standard for flight. Hopefully you have somebody who's an instructor that can help you out on those first few flights. So again, nothing super huge on the instructions, but it's good to get to go through them once. Charging the battery, transmitter, plugging the battery, and binding, things of that nature are pretty important. So here is the finished Mini Aeroscout model. It literally goes together in minutes. There's you don't even need a screwdriver for the pull down bolt on the wing. It's just you can use your fingers to put it into place. The landing gear snaps into place. There's nothing to it. The fuselage is assembled. This is the cover. The battery goes here. You have to install the Velcro that comes with the kit. That's not hard to do. The battery connector. They're the electronics with little servos built into the circuit board that control the elevator and rudder, the antenna. Note there's a little magnet that holds in the hatch, so that is the wind flow will keep that in place, and the magnet does a pretty good job of keeping the hatch in place. So this is a completed airplane, and it just takes literally 5 minutes to put it together. The battery has been charged with a USB charger, and what we'll do once the wind's died down, we'll give it a test flight to see how it works. This is the 2.4 gigahertz transmitter that comes with the Mini Aeroscout, 3-channel transmitter with the throttle located over here, rudder and elevator on this side. Again, per the instructions, it comes binded to the plane, but if you have to do any binding action, you literally press down the stick. Also, there's high and low rates that you do by pressing this stick, and they even remind you here they have rate and bind on either side. One thing that's kind of interesting, in the directions they said the throttle has to be low whenever you turn on. This is a good rule for any electric powered model. There's a lot of built-in safety devices these days, but with some of the older systems, depending on the mixture of electronics, etc., you could accidentally turn on your transmitter with the throttle above a low setting, and the model may burst into life. Now watch what happens when you turn on the transmitter and you accidentally leave the throttle high. That's the alarm to lower the throttle, and then it goes down. So that's just a good reminder. And remember, you need the throttle low in order to arm the airplane. So let's go ahead and power up the model. Just watch how the electronics work. So again, we turn the transmitter on first with the throttle on low. This is the little single cell 800 milliamp lithium polymer battery. Remember, the polarity is critical with the red and black matching up inside the airplane. Simply take off the hatch, and in this case the red is to the right, so I'll hitch that up. Put the battery towards the front, and the model works. So you can see the little servos working inside here. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit concerned at just how low the throw is on these systems. If you look on the back, the rudder just isn't moving all that much. Same for the elevator. It comes built this way from the factory, so I'm assuming that is the correct amount of throw. We'll find out on the test flights. I would like to see some more throw. I did check we're on the high rate there. We'll just have to see how things work out. So it looks like plenty of throw. All right, here we go. So I just finished 5 test hops, flights of the Mini Aeroscout. The wind's picked up a little bit now. It was much calmer earlier today. The plane doesn't fly the way I would like it to fly. It is a good plane with a design. There's enough power to the engine. I just don't have enough control authority. So we'll get back to the shop and we'll give a more thorough debrief on what the way ahead is on this airplane, and to see if you want to buy one and what we need to do to fix it. We're back from the flying field with the test flights of the Mini Aeroscout. You saw from the flight videos we had several flights. I'm not satisfied with the flight performance of this airplane, so let's discuss that a little bit and what are the next steps. First of all, the model seems like a well-designed model. It balanced correctly at the center of gravity. There's enough power. The access to the control electronics and battery is fine. There's no binding. The problem is I just don't have enough control throw. So let's take a look at how much I have. This is the elevator, up, down, rudder, maybe enough, but there's a lot more to the left than to the right. And this is with the full throws. If I push down on this transmitter stick right here for the different rates, that's the high rate. If I press once more, you get a short beep. I just can't see that much difference on the control rates. So if you look inside the 2 servos on the electronics, there's no binding. I actually took the step of putting in a longer arm on the control arm for the elevators. And you can see that when it moves, there just isn't that much. There's a lot more this way than the other way. And that's that. So the model flies well when it's flying well, but there's sometimes I want to turn. I literally have full rudder in to turn. The model's going straight. And I'm not used to that, especially on a trainer aircraft. And that was pretty consistent. As a matter of fact, in the first couple of flights, I had to hold a lot of left stick in. What I did was I trimmed it further to the left on the rudder. That gave me a little bit more authority on either side, but not enough to be consistently controlling the flight. Now, as I went into the manual, there's nothing in the manual to how much the control surfaces should go one way or the other. There is one thing here on page 8 where it's talking about the control horn location, surface centering. Notice the rudder should be centered and the elevator should be up 1 millimeter. Now 1 millimeter is 4/100ths of an inch, 0.04 100ths of an inch. There's nobody that can tell 1 millimeter. So it's been my experience with some of these ready-to-fly models from HobbyZone. There's very small control surface movement that's built in, I guess. I just didn't feel there was enough on this one. Also, there's nothing anywhere stating how much the control surfaces should move, so I can use that as a reference. I had one more trick up my sleeve, and that was to maybe try and bind it to my regular Spectrum DX6 transmitter. The problem with that game plan, under the specifications here on page 3, it says on the transmitter, it's a 2.4 gigahertz transmitter, the included transmitter. The included 3-in-1 flight controller and transmitter are not compatible with DSM, DSM-2, or DSM-X protocols. That means the electronics of this transmitter, the HobbyZone MLP4, with this controls, I cannot use my DX6 transmitter. They won't shake hands electronically, so that's not an option to maybe get some further control throw. So the model has potential, I think. I'm going to try a few more flights. I'll be in contact with Horizon Hobby to see what their thoughts are on it. It's a very new, ready-to-fly model. I'd be interested if any of you have similar problems. Please discuss in the comments below. I will be interested to hear what anybody has to offer. I do think it's important to get this right because it's a trainer. There could be young kids with their fathers trying to learn how to fly. The model just has to fly better out of the box or something like this. So again, thank you for your time, and we'll look forward to seeing you in a future video.